Most of us have been taught how to sell at some point. But what if the very way we were taught is actually setting us up to fail? Today, we're going to explore a really fundamental shift in that thinking, moving away from a role we think we have to play and toward a relationship we can actually build.
This quote from founder Leroy it hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? That feeling of being an imposter on your own sales call, you feel that pressure, that sense of pretending. And that squeaking noise he talks about, well, that's the sound of trust completely eroding before you even get a chance to build it.
For a long, long time, the main way to do things has been exactly this, a performance. You get your script, you rehearse your lines perfectly, and your goal is to guide, let's be honest, sometimes push the other person towards a conclusion you decided on ahead of time. The whole interaction is just about maintaining control. But that brings up a really powerful question. What happens if we just throw the script out the window? What if, instead of trying to control the conversation, our goal was to collaborate within it? Let's really break down these two completely opposite ways of thinking.
So first, let's dissect that traditional model, the one a lot of us were probably taught to master. We're going to call it the performer's playbook because it really is all about hitting your marks and delivering your lines perfectly.
Just look at how linear and rigid this whole process is. This structure, it's taken from a classic discovery call guide, and it's a perfect example of that performer mindset. Frame, understand, dig for pain. It's a total one-way street, a process built to move the prospect from point A to B, with the seller holding the map and gripping the steering wheel.
And the engine that drives this whole playbook is what's often called digging for pain. The strategy is pretty simple. Find a problem, an inefficiency, some kind of frustration, and then just press on it to create urgency. That pain becomes the whole justification for your solution. And it's a proven tactic, but from the buyer's point of view, it can feel a lot less like help and a lot more like an interrogation.
Okay, so what's the alternative? Let's explore this new philosophy, which completely reframes the entire interaction, not as a performance, but as a genuine partnership. With this approach, the entire objective shifts. The goal is no longer to win the deal. Instead, it's to achieve something called informed alignment. All that means is your number one job is to create clarity. Do we both have the same information? Do we both understand what's really at stake? You see, a no is just as valuable as a yes here, because in this model, clarity is the real prize. And this whole idea of alignment is built on two really powerful pillars. First, being empathy-led. That just means you start where they are, not where you want them to be. And second, being permission-based. This means you never just assume you have the right to their time. You ask, you check in, and you literally earn the right to go deeper at every single step. And this isn't just about being nice. It's actually really strategic. By giving the buyer a sense of choice and connection, you're tapping into some fundamental human psychology. And when you do that, their defenses naturally come down, they're more open to being honest, and you end up having a much, much more productive conversation. Okay, so theory is one thing, but let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. We're going to put the performer and the partner side by side in a typical sales call and see what happens. Just look at the difference, right? From the opening line, the performer takes control. Here's my agenda. It sounds professional, sure, but it immediately sets up a power dynamic. The partner, on the other hand, gives control. My aim is just to see if we're aligned. You can stop me at any point. That small shift creates a feeling of psychological safety from the very first sentence. And this difference just keeps going when you look at the questions they ask. The performer goes straight for the jugular, looking for that pain point they can exploit. But when the partner hears a vague statement like, "it's too soon," they don't jump on it. Instead, they ask a clarifying question. See, they're not hunting for a problem to solve, they're searching for the truth behind the words. But the real difference, the starkest one, shows up when resistance comes up. The performer sees an objection as something to overcome. It's a battle that needs to be won. The partner sees it as just more information. They use a framework like PACE. They pause to let the emotions settle. They acknowledge the feeling. They clarify what it really means. And then they explore a path forward together. It's all about de-escalation, not domination. So why is this partnership approach so much more effective? Especially in today's world where buyers are more informed and skeptical than ever before. Well, the results of this shift are pretty profound. When you drop the performance, people's defenses go down and trust goes way up. You get to an honest no much faster, which saves everyone time. And the deals you do close are built on a solid foundation of mutual understanding, not pressure. And here's the best part. It's not just better for the buyer. It dramatically reduces stress and burnout for the seller too.
This whole thing really comes down to a powerful idea called the trust equation. Trust is built on three things: your credibility, your reliability, and the connection you create. But look at the bottom of the equation. All of that gets divided by self-orientation, which is just a fancy way of saying how focused you are on your own agenda. The partnership model is designed to systematically shrink that self-orientation and focus entirely on the other person. And as the math shows, that's the single fastest way to build trust. And that leaves us with this final, really critical insight. The old model chases revenue, hoping a relationship might accidentally form along the way. The new model focuses on building a genuine, trust-based relationship first, knowing that when you do that, the revenue follows naturally. So the question to ask yourself isn't just, how can I sell better, but am I a performer or am I a partner?